All right, so hopefully you tried number 57 and it went well for you, but if you need a little hint, here we go. So it's gonna be a lot like the example problem we did just before this with the hot air balloon. So this was their part B and this was their part C, but we're gonna do it on our own this time. So we notice we have a 1D motion problem, so you better list your variables. You have not a y naught equals y, not a max height problem, but it is in free fall. So you should be able to set up that list of variables. You know the initial velocity, you know the initial height, the final height is 0, and so you can set up a quadratic using equation number 2. Okay? Once you get a quadratic, you got to go over to polysymbol, just like we did in the example, and solve for t. You'll have a negative time and a positive time. You want that positive time, which is 4.93 seconds. The negative time is imagining that that parabola continued on past that person's hand and went back in time to this point. Solving for the speed before it hits the ground, so you can find the velocity, you should get negative 3.3 meters per second. With a speed, take off the negative because we don't have direction on speed because it's a scalar. Make sure when you do these, if you did this all new, you did it with equation number 3, so you didn't use the time from before, great. If you are going to use a time to find these, make sure you store that number on your calculator, because if you round this, and then it becomes a squared term later on, like that rounding can push you off of the correct answer, especially important when we plug our answers into Quiz Evolved, where it requires 4 sig figs. So if you rounded to say 2 or 3 sig figs here, and then squared it, that might affect that 4th or even that 3rd sig fig in our Quiz Evolved. So there you go.